So there's this battery out there making some pretty explosive claims. It's from a company called Donut Lab. And we're going to dive in and try to answer one simple, but as it turns out, not so simple question.
You see, the story here is a real maze of different companies, wild claims, and a whole lot of confusion. So what we're going to do is follow the evidence, just piece by piece, and see exactly where this trail leads.
First, let's just get on the same page about what's at stake. I mean, look at these claims. If this stuff is true, we're not just talking about a slightly better battery. We're talking about a genuine revolution. A battery like this, it changes basically everything we thought we knew about battery science. Now, an invention this big, it has to have a patent, right? You'd think so. So the first, most logical step for us is to just check the public records. That's where we should find the names, the real story. This part should be super straightforward. I mean, if the Donut Lab invented this thing, their name would be all over the patent filings. It's literally the most obvious place to start looking. And right away, things get weird. The answer is a flat no. Donut Lab has 0 patents for any kind of battery technology. The only patents they hold are for motorcycle design. So this doesn't just fail to answer our question, it makes the mystery way, way deeper. Okay, so we widen the search to other companies that seemed connected. A German company, CT Coding, we'll come back to them later, also no battery patents. But then here's a fun little twist. A competitor from Sweden, Holyvolt, has a patent application out there for a flexible solid energy storage module. And you know, that sounds an awful lot like what Donut Lab is talking about. And here it is, the real kicker. And it's from Donut Lab's own letter to its investors. They actually admit it. They say they are the owner of a new battery technology, not the inventor. They're getting to the tech, not creating it. So the trail doesn't end here. It just gets a lot more complicated. All right, so if the paper trail is a dead end, what about the battery itself? You know, the physical evidence. Well, Donut Lab hired Finland's VTT Technical Research Center to test a cell. And lucky for us, the results they publish give us our next set of really critical clues.
And this is where the plot really thickens. So, experts will tell you that a battery's voltage curve is like its chemical fingerprint. And the VTT test shows a fingerprint that is a near-perfect match for a standard nickel-manganese-cobalt battery. Yeah, cobalt. The very thing Donut Lab swears their battery doesn't have.
So you're probably asking, what about that incredible charging speed? Well, get this. The test itself was designed by Donut Lab, and it wasn't some comprehensive scientific analysis. It was a very specific protocol, pretty much engineered to prove one thing and one thing only: fast charging. They did it by pushing the cell way past its safety limits and then just stopping the test the exact second it hit a target number. This kind of extreme testing also revealed something you definitely will not find in their marketing materials: a ton of heat. During one of these high-speed charges, the cell's temperature shot past 90 degrees Celsius. That's almost boiling. It got so hot, the technicians had to shut down the test for safety reasons. That's a massive problem for any battery that's supposed to work in the real world. Okay, so what have we figured out? The evidence so far suggests Donut Lab is basically a customer, not an inventor. And they seem to be marketing a cell that behaves a lot like conventional tech. So let's try to untangle this complex corporate web and find out where this thing actually comes from. So by following investor documents and public records, a path starts to emerge. It leads from Donut Lab in Estonia, through a Finnish partner called Nordic Nano, and all the way to a German industrial printing company called CT Coding and its Spanish subsidiary, Sana Energy. It looks like CT Coding is the one actually making the machines that print these battery cells. So the trail is pointing pretty clearly to Germany and Spain. And after weeks of people online connecting all these dots, a key figure inside this whole corporate web finally broke his silence. He confirmed the connection, and he claimed the credit. An employee from Sana Energy, that's the Spanish subsidiary of the German printing company, just came right out and said it on LinkedIn. He stated very plainly that he's the person responsible at Sana and that Sana is the IP holder, the owner of the intellectual property for the battery tech that Donut Lab is selling. But then his follow-up comments just made everything even stranger. Over on Reddit, he claimed their technology comes from a different corner of science and physics, and that it can exceed the theoretical limits of what currently exists. I mean, that is a monumental claim, way bigger than anything even Donut Lab has been saying publicly. So, after all that digging, it seems like we've found the source of the technology. But this just leaves us with an even bigger, more fundamental question. The physical evidence we have points to a pretty standard battery that's just being pushed to its absolute limits. But the claimed inventor is talking about literally breaking the known limits of physics. So, are we looking at a revolutionary breakthrough, or is this just revolutionary marketing?